Good day, viewers around the world. You are welcome to yet another edition of our program, SSM News Echoes Global Africa. Today is Wednesday, the 6th of March, 2024, and my name is Godwin Iweajunwa, connecting to you from Milan, Italy. Joining me, as usual, from the different parts of the world are my colleagues and coordinators. In faraway Toronto, Canada, is Sir George Chukwu. Sir George Chukwu, you're welcome to SSM Global Africa this day.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Good morning. I think your audio needs to be a little up. So anyway, joining us also, Sir George, is Olayinka Raji from Lagos, Nigeria.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, the audience all over the world.
Ogbeni Olayinka Raji, you're welcome, sir.
At your service.
At your service. All right, gentlemen. I hope you're all having a beautiful, great week going on. Yeah, Sir George.
Yep.
My microphone okay now?
I can't hear George.
Yes, we can hear George. Little, small, just increase it a little. Okay, gentlemen, a lot is happening. Because of our time, we'll just run through them. This morning, the EFCC chairman, our man Olanipekun Olukoyode, the new EFCC chairman that was appointed by Bola Ahmed Tinubu 12th October 2023, has made a strong declaration. He said it's a declaration and also an announcement, a revelation. 70% of financial crimes in Nigeria are have now been traced to the banking sector. He says the banking sector has become a cesspool of fraudulent activities. So this is the chairman of EFCC himself talking. Gentlemen, let's talk about this. Raji, did you hear the announcement?
Sir.
Did you hear
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I've known it all the time that most of our financial problems stem from the banking sector, especially those bank MDs and all the things they've been doing, declaring humongous profits. You know, I also heard on the news from Ghana that the GT Bank and the First Bank has been reprimanded for some. In fact, I've been stopped from dealing in foreign exchange in Ghana.
In Ghana,
and
that's
I just told myself that, you see, they have taken what they have been doing in Nigeria onto Ghana.
You see,
Ghana is a more disciplined environment, and all the things that all the brigandage that they have been doing in Nigeria, they can't do it in Ghana. Yes.
Ghana is a more disciplined environment. I had that news yesterday. Yes. 3 banks were asked in Ghana for some very strange activities. Anyway, so Oluka Koyode has made this revelation. He was speaking at the 2024 annual conference of Association of Chief Audits, the Executive Chief Audit Bank in Nigeria. That was on Monday. And he said lots of things. He said to me, he said, certified bankers and professional auditors play an important role in sensitizing and stabilizing, strengthening our financial sector, but somehow they are adding to that fraudulent activities. He says the banking sector has become a cesspool of fraudulent activities, and it's a concern. So it's a sad thing to hear that where we should have, one place that things should be regulated, finances should be controlled, has become where these acts go on. And so the clients, people are left with very, who do you trust if you can't trust the bank with your money?
Financial system.
Sir George, same problem, but don't worry, let's go on with it. It's still very low. So yes, it's okay. Don't worry. Let's just run with it.
Maybe his mic is muted.
Maybe the mic is muted. Okay. Sir George, we really want to hear your take on this. Anyway, let's keep on, Raji. So I know many years ago it was revealed that some so-called top bankers, they have their class, they have their group, top bankers. It was revealed that they were having some financial um, mis. They were doing some back end misappropriation of funds, back end, and they indicted some names. But you see, when such news come out, because of this phenomenon that some things could be fake news, some people will just ask it, it's a fake news, fake news. No, it's not true. Fake news, fake news. But eventually the truth comes out and we realize that story then was not a fake news. Even though maybe the person, whoever brought out the whistleblower, probably might have exaggerated some things, but it eventually shows it's not a fake news. So I remember they called names. The late Wigwe was even mentioned. Jim Ovio was mentioned. I mean, some names in the banking sector were called out to say what the activities and what they do wasn't very. Yes, it was compromising. So, George, we really want to hear you. George, just tell us. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We can't hear you well, but it's okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. Actually, Mark, there was actually a group of they call them either the red ties or something. You will recognize them by their red tie. Though it was just more or less like a clique, and you could, and they mostly high officers in the banking system, from the MDs to the executive directors. And what they were doing was essentially forex manipulation and speculation.
Forex manipulation and speculation.
Yes. Round tripping and all those things. Yes.
Round tripping. That's it.
Yes.
So viewers, this is it. The EFCC boss has made the revelation loud and clear. He says that's the EFCC boss there on the screen. Olaonipekun Olukoyode, the new EFCC boss. He says that the banking sector is increasingly become a cesspool of fraudulent activities. These are his words. He says 70% of financial crime in Nigeria has now been traced to the banking sector. So these are very serious revelations. This goes to show that we're in trouble. I mean, the banking sector should be one of the most ethical, trusted sector in any economy, not only in Nigeria, in any economy, because that's the core of the finance.
And Mark,
Go ahead.
There were some stipulations about how much a private person could have in his account without it being reported to EFCC. But you have cases where a single person may have, and even with the BVN, you see that a single person may have more than 10 bank accounts with humongous amounts spread all over it. Some of them use the names of their housemates, and all these things are supposed to be overseen by the banks. But the banks, I don't think, make the necessary reports. That's why it has become very, 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 very difficult to trace how a single person could have, like a single civil servant could have up to 1 billion naira in his account, or could have various accounts with different names, and then there's a way that you should be able to attach a BVN to a particular person, and yet you have people with various accounts in various names with no source of income, having humongous amounts of money in their account, acting as proteges or cells for other very, very corrupt people. But the banks don't report all these things. The bank don't report all things. In fact, this morning I saw a report of some money changers some group of people who were caught in Kwara State for selling the Naira. And I looked at it. I said, how can you be going after these people? No matter, I do not think that they would have been able to sell more than 5 million naira of the new notes. And yet there are people who are dealing with billions of our naira who are going free on the road without being reprimanded or anything. And you are jailing people who are in their own ways trying to survive by doing the petty things that they could do to make money on the weekends.
Raji, you don't know what you're doing today, this morning. I want to thank you for this insight you're giving us. And believe me, a lot of people are listening. We have quite a number of viewers here.
Thank
So,
you.
George,
Can
you
hear me?
yes, are you
You can hear
following
me
up?
now?
Yeah, loud, good, better.
Yeah, we can hear you
Beautiful.
now.
We can
Okay,
hear you
beautiful.
now.
Thank you,
Let me.
thank you for saving me. I was getting very
No, it's okay. Listen to this.
yeah.
Listen to
My
this.
rescue. Mm.
One major problem that we have in Nigeria is that we tend to anything that goes from middle up, we don't pay attention to it. We ignore it. The problem we're having in Nigeria, the banking system, what that EFCC chairman was talking about is factual. It is true. But the problem we have in Nigeria is because the people that are leading us are working with these people. They are the ones that are facilitating some of these, money that is
Financial
moving
crimes.
out of the country, financial fraudulent, activities and all that. So they become untouchable because the leadership is actually, in protecting them. So even as this man now came out to talk about 70% of the fraudulent activities, is being directed to the bank, I can guarantee you he's already received hundreds of calls from
Threatening.
most of the people on top, threatening him.
Mm.
Threatening him. This is not a new story. It's been going on. You remember during the time when there was no money, our former president, decided to, because he was trying to fight against Tinubu and all that stuff, change the color of the money and all that. All of a sudden, you see money. There was no money. Everybody's saying there's no money, but you see the rich will go, and they are the ones spraying the new money, and you're asking, where is it coming from?
Wrong.
So this is something that we are, unless the government, like I said before, the only way that country will ever get better, we have to go down to the very bottom, change the foundation, and change the whole entire system. That's overhaul of the whole system. So all these things are, he's coming out to say all this, it's just for now. Watch and see in 2 weeks, you don't hear about it anymore. You will not hear about that anymore. Because I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell you this. Even if he insists on going forward with this, they're going to attack the president privately, and they're going to make sure that the president tells this guy, back off, cool down, pour some cold water on it. That's exactly what is going on. The system is so defaulted, so disjointed, it would take us a generation to overhaul the whole entire thing. I'm telling you.
It will take us a generation to
generation.
the whole thing.
Yes.
Viewers, you are listening to
unless
SSM
yes,
Go ahead.
sorry, unless the people who are leading us are ready to commit class what they call class something, because they are in the class of people who are doing all these things. Yes, they are the people. They are in the class of people who are doing all these things, where governors will collect their allocations and change the whole lot into dollars and keep them in their dorm account. And all these things are known to the bank MDs, and because they are, like George said, they are in league with each other.
Yeah, they're working together.
Unless they are ready to commit class suicide, I don't think there's going to be anything. Unless, for instance, Tinubu will come out and say, look, enough is enough. I've stolen enough. I've taken enough. Let me stop here. Let me clear the agents' tables. Unless that, I'm very sorry. They'll just be arresting poor people who are selling Naira at ceremonies just to make ends meet.
Look at what happened. Do you see what happened with the oil bunkering? Didn't you see that? They will go to the streets and capture the little man and put him in prison. While meanwhile, every single individual in our government knew about those ships that are coming in and taking our crude oil out. That's how they take care of the military. That's how they take care of all those retired generals to make sure that they don't come back to try to take, do any type of coup. That's the money. The military knew it. The Navy knew it. The Air Force knew it. All of them, they knew it. All the government officials, most of them are in cahoots. How can a huge ship like that keep coming, taking oil out, and you're telling me they don't know it? They all know it. They know what's going on. Nigeria is a joke. It's a joke.
They'll go after those poor guys who are taking the crude oil in jerry cans and leave those who are taking them in tankers.
Viewers, this is it.
A tanker in the middle of the sea is visible over 200, over 50 kilometers because of the size and the bulk of it. But they are hardly seen. Yes.
Gentlemen, you are opening up strong canker worms. These are very strong allegations added to the one that the EFCC boss has made. EFCC boss Olaonipekun Koyode has said that financial crime, 7% of financial crime in Nigeria is traced to the banking sector. And our gentlemen here have also added to it, telling us that a lot of activities in Nigeria is done through the banks. Gentlemen, let's go on with more of this discussion. So we are looking at what happens as the EFCC boss has made this revelation. He was speaking in an event on Monday, and he revealed this. He was speaking at that internal audit and financial service event on Monday. Okay, gentlemen, something I forgot to add. He also said that a lot of forgery, fake Naira notes, unauthorized loan facilities, and so many other unhealthy criminal practices are being done in the bank. So that means, George, what you were saying earlier, that means some of these fake notes, some people will be traveling and they want to buy, they want to have some foreign currency with them. Now they will go to the bank to buy this foreign currency, and added to the original note will be fake. So I once had a visitor that came to Milan to do some big purchase in a company, and we found out that half of the money he had with him were fake. Thank God, the Italian business partner didn't press charges, because that's a criminal offense. But he honestly said it's coming from the bank.
You know what they do? They know those that are bringing it in. They will mix it with the real ones, and then they will take it in, and then we go through the system. So once it goes through the system, it will be dispensed to the people. If they're spending it in Nigeria, they will not catch it. Once you go abroad, that's where the problem is. Let me tell you something. If we want to control this, and truly if we want to control it, what the government needs to do is to strengthen the internal control, to implement a robust auditing procedure and promote accountability among staff. What they need to do is to open up a quiet, nice little line whereby people can report each other about what is really going on. And when they are caught, we are going to prosecute them openly, and the public needs to hold them accountable. The only way they're not serious. These things are just news that are coming out. Okay, look at where he's talking. He was making a speech somewhere and made all this announcement. Is that the way it's supposed to be? Is that the way it's supposed to be? Should they not, just put a system together whereby they can go and audit each bank, starting from the CEOs of the bank all the way down? Audit each bank if they are serious. They're not serious. They're not serious.
Okay, but somebody that is serious is here with us, and that's BD Nana from Lagos, Nigeria. Serious lady in her profession. BD, you're welcome. Hope you can hear us. BD is frozen. Okay.
So now watch this. Watch this. Another thing that they need to do is to bring partnership between these regulatory agencies.
Okay.
Or the banking system, the law enforcement system, like the EFCC and the rest of them. Put them all together so that they can share information. So information that comes to one can easily go to the other. Like I said, when it's so disjointed, that's the problem. It's so disjointed that one group will be doing whatever they're doing, the other groups will not know nothing about it. And that is one of them. That's exactly what the problem is. And they have to take advantage of the technology. Let me tell you something. If they ask, didn't they go and grab Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya? And yet, at the back of our house, Boko Haram is doing whatever they're doing and being paid. Can you just imagine? Can you imagine, please? The bank is kidnappers are using the bank to receive money. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
Jokers.
Okay, let's put that imagination together as we also hear from BD Nana. BD, is it okay now? Can you hear us? BD, your frame is frozen. Okay. Can you hear us, BD? Okay, gentlemen, real strong revelations. Allah Onipekun has said it all. I like we said, the BTAO thing, that one I remember very well, the basic traveling allowance of a lady, and amongst it were fake Naira dollar notes. Terrible. Now the EFCC boss is saying those practices are coming straight out from the bank. It's sad to hear this.
He is telling the truth. And that he is telling the truth. There's no fake news here. It's real and it's been real.
So is it that, George, we need to do some findings on this? Let's know if each of these banks prints fake Naira notes. I mean, how do they have access to fake dollar notes?
The banks do not print fake Naira notes.
Fake dollar notes.
Not dollar notes. The people that print it are working with the banking system. So that's what they do. They will bring it, you mix it all together, you go there, they know who to go to, and then that money will be put into the system. So
it's
now
an international thing.
Yes. When they put it into the system, they will mix it up with the real notes. So like say, for instance, they will get like $5 million worth of real notes, and they can put like $1 million of fake notes and mix it all together.
The system.
They'll mix it all together. So the unlucky ones are the ones who will take this money outside of the country. The most of them that are lucky, it will be dispensed within the system, and it can circulate within the system without being detected.
George, you sound like you were once a victim. You understand this whole thing too well.
That's what they do.
I even heard there was a story some time ago about somewhere in Thailand where there was so much fake dollar notes that it was legal tender among the community. Unless it goes out of the community, that's when it's now discovered. But as far as it stays in the community, it was legal tender, and they were spending the money. Yes, it was legal tender.
You are listening to SSM this beautiful Wednesday morning, but the news we're hearing is not beautiful. But we hope things will change. Now that the revelation has come out, gentlemen, you think solution has come, George?
When is it that things like this have ever surfaced in Nigeria, and then you're still hearing it 2 weeks or 3 weeks after? When? No, I want to know, because news come, they flash, and they stay there for a couple of days or 3 days. Everybody will
Then they go.
pontificate. Everybody will just talk about it, and then they'll say, sit on it, don't do anything, don't make any statement, just stay. It will die unborn. That's exactly what happens in Nigeria.
Unless the leader is ready to commit class suicide.
That's it.
Class suicide.
That's it.
Okay, let's bring in somebody that will also give us more on this. BD, we are anxious to hear you on the frame. BD Nana from Lagos, Nigeria. Hopefully you connect with us. Gentlemen, let's move on. We took some time on that topic, and that's because it's a serious thing. It's really serious. If the financial sector of a country is being jeopardized like that, being manipulated, then these are real serious issues. So let's move on. Something came up yesterday, and I think we need to talk about it. The army, this chief of staff of the Nigerian army says the army has no desire to truncate Nigerian democracy. Gentlemen, let's talk about this before we go on a short break. So the chief of army staff, that's General Taurid Lagbaja, I think. Yes, he stated this yesterday, that the commitment of the Nigerian army is to defend the nation's choice of government, and that's democracy. The army has no desire to truncate the democracy. He charged officers of the Nigerian army to remain above board in discharge of their professional duties. And he said, in his words, he said, permit me to seize this opportunity to reiterate that the Nigerian Army Force, particularly the Nigerian Army, has come in terms with the country's choice of democracy as the preferred system of governance. And he said they are stuck with it. So, gentlemen, let's talk about this. Him raising up this discussion, was there a plan to overthrow the government?
Let me tell you. Okay. Can I say something?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now, I know we're going to go into the grain and the food insecurity in the country. We're going to talk about it. But right now, what you're hearing is real. When the man is coming out and saying the suggestions already came in through them. Now, how many? Okay, I'm going to ask you, when you statistically, when you compare the number of regional military men, okay, like, if you go from east, west, north, and south, how would you quantify the people that are on top? Like, the generals, how many of them are from the north? How many of them are from the south? How many of them are from the east and the west? Can you tell us? If you know the number, then you will understand that pressure is being put on these people, because government is already taken away from one side to another side, and there is a lot of agitation. I'm going to talk about the food insecurity a few minutes later, but right now, what you are seeing is pressure was on him, but assurance is being given, because these people are well taken care of. They will lack nothing. These generals are well taken care of to ensure stability of government in Nigeria. So when he's coming and talking, he's telling you the truth. Pressure was put on him, but he wants to come and assure the nation that, yes, we have embraced democracy. We have embraced the South ruling as it is. So we have to stay with it until further notice.
We have to stay with it until further notice. George, thank you very much. Raji, before you go on, let's just bring in BD again. BD, we'll be knocking on you. We hope you can hear us. Your frame is not frozen. BD, can you hear us? Her frame is frozen again. Okay. Anyway, gentlemen, let's just talk on this, then we go in the small break. Raji, what do you say? The Chief of Army Staff says they don't plan to truncate democracy. So that means there was a pressure somewhere. There was something that was brooding somewhere.
in the first instance, I'm getting rather very nervous about too much presence of the military in governance. I don't see why even the chief of staff should be making such statements if we had a solid government in place,
Mm.
which has made it clear to all arms of the military and the security forces that we are in a civilian democracy, and there are specific responsibilities for the military, for the police. The military is for to defend the country against external aggression.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else internally should be handed over to the police.
To the police.
But unfortunately, the police have been so disseminated that they are essentially ineffectual. And therefore, a lot of their basic responsibilities is now being taken over by the military. It is not right. It is not right. Two, I really wish there would be a military takeover. And then we'll have to decide what will happen to this country. Because should there be a military takeover, this country should implode and go its separate nationalities. Yes.
I personally,
Judge.
no. I don't support that at all. Raji,
Yes.
one Nigeria.
So therefore, there should not be a military takeover. Not now, not ever again.
No, listen.
Not
to this.
ever again. So that's my only condition. I believe in one Nigeria. I believe in one Nigeria based on federating units.
Federated units.
Yes.
Yeah.
Autonomous federating units who have a need to come together with other nationalities to form a nation in which all of us will be proud of. I'm not proud to be a Nigerian. No, my birthday is on the 1st of October.
Oh.
It is a challenge to me to celebrate my birthday because people will be asking me, what is making you happy about this country that you are celebrating? And I have to explain to them, unfortunately, Nigeria chose my birthday as their Independence Day. So it is a serious challenge to me. I'm over 65. And every year, my love for this country diminishes. It is not right. It is not right.
Wow.
I want to be proud of a nation. We call Nigeria, whatever we call it.
Yes. George, but these are patriotic, passionate words he's spilling out.
Yes, I do share your pain, and I do share the disgust that the government has truncated this country into. But I still believe the only thing we need to do is to get serious about the welfare of the nation and find the best system of democratic government that can work for us and implement it strictly, rather than one region trying to ensure that what the military put in place favors them, therefore let's not do it again. That is exactly what the problem is, right as we are speaking. If all the regions will come together, the 4 regions in Nigeria, north, west, south, east, they come together and say the best way is a federation type of government. We need to implement it, and they get serious about it. Because let me tell you something, if becoming a federation will not favor a lot of these our foreign partners, they will discourage it. That is the reason why all of a sudden the IMF is telling Nigeria what to do with their financial system, and they're implementing it, and chaos is happening at the back of and in the front of our house. They're trying to find the way that it will benefit them, not us.
Okay.
It is about time for us to become a country and remain a country.
You're both sounding very patriotic.
We are a country. We are not a nation yet.
Raji, let's go on a short break. We'll be back. More things to talk about. Thank you very much. Viewers, thank you for tuning in. SSM News Echoes Wednesday, Global Africa. And you can hear what is going on. Some real strong words spilling out here. See you on the other side.
unity.
This country has some of the most extraordinary culinary diversity in the world. I'm talking about Nigeria. This first dish is amala abula, made popular by the Yoruba people in southwest Nigeria. It starts with amala made from dried yam and then is covered in a variety of soups. Next we have ofe nsala, a white soup that is synonymous with the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria. It goes best with fufu, or akbo as the Igbos call it. Next we have suya, the most well-known food of the Hausa and Fulani people of northern Nigeria. Meat is covered in a peanut-based powder called yaji and cooked over an open fire. This is banga and starch, a classic of the Urhobo people of Delta State. Lastly, we have onunu, a plantain-based swallow of the Izon people in south-south Nigeria. We are eating it with fisherman soup, popular throughout this whole region. And of course, we don't forget the jollof rice. This is popular everywhere in Nigeria. I think what makes Nigeria so great is the diversity of all the different people coming together. These beautiful ethnic groups living side by side, sharing culture and cuisine is what makes Nigeria such an amazing country to visit. Nigerians should be so proud of that cultural heritage, as there is so much more that unites than divides them.
Hello, my name is Benson Yamaikon. I'll be launching my book, Being Nigerian, on the 30th of March 2004. We're going to be talking about lots of things, competition and collaboration. We want to see how we can trade within Africa and Turkey. Hope to see you there. Goodbye.
Being Nigerian, yes, we are Nigerians. We're Nigerians globally. SSM has Nigerians in all corners of the world. And Nigerians are doing good things, good, impactful things, resourceful things. So we don't want to go our separate ways, because like George always says, and like the advert you just heard said, it is our diversity that makes us who we are. Gentlemen, you're welcome. Welcome again, viewers, to SSM Wednesday Global Africa. Now, there's something that came up and doesn't sound too good again, gentlemen. Peter B says Nigeria receiving food donations from war-torn Ukraine is a national disgrace. He says we must aggressively reorder our priorities by investing resources in productive sector like agriculture. That's Peter Obi expressing himself in a very deep way. He says, how can Nigeria be taking food from a war-torn Ukraine? But this is a fact anyway. He sounds a little bit brutal, but what he's saying makes a lot of sense. George.
Listen to this. Are we going to tell ourselves the truth? Are we just going to keep on playing games and calling it that we are, we want the best for Nigeria? When the truth, if the truth comes out, if black is black, call it black. If white is white, call it white. I see a lot of people attacking him and, talking about all this type of nonsense that they, just talking about. No, what the man is talking about is the way to get Nigeria moving in the right direction. Can you just imagine in the 70s, we gave Malaysia, some palm kernel products, as a gift. Today, we are buying oil from Malaysia, palm oil from Malaysia. Malaysia now, their GDP, almost 80% of it is from palm products. And yet we're here sitting down and we're playing with each other. When somebody comes to tell the truth, some of these political prostitutes, will come out and start attacking the individual. And then you say you want the welfare of Nigeria. And by the way, let me ask you a question, because you remember, I used to say this all the time. I want you to pay attention to this.
Okay.
When Jonathan Patience, during the time of Boko Haram, when they kidnapped all those girls and said, "Now you only waka come," that particular statement came with a lot of background depth to it. Okay, why is it that all these years, that under Buhari administration, the herdsmen came destroying the food production in the eastern region, tried to do it in the western region, and we're playing around as if it's just we're playing soccer in the field. Nobody said anything.
Please.
Insecurity
Yeah.
was stopping food from being transported from the north to the east. The east were quietly suffering in silence. Nobody said anything. Nobody wants to come apart and get away from Nigeria. They suffered. All of a sudden, the north is feeling the pinch right now. It become a global phenomenon, a global chaos that is taking place. Why is that? You see, all these people, let me tell you something. This is orchestrated by their leaders. All these things that they're doing, trying to go into the play, to anchor up, trucks that have food. It's all orchestrated.
Stealing.
Why did it not happen when it was happening to the east? Why did it not happen when other parts of the country were suffering food insecurity? All of a sudden, it's affecting the north. All of a sudden, you're going to break down, the food, all the storehouses and all that kind of stuff. It's all orchestrated. When they go to their mosque on Fridays, they are instructing them on what to do. It is orchestrated. Why is it only happening there? Are they the only ones suffering the food in Nigeria?
Thank you, George. Thank you, George. Yes, Raji, last week, Ukraine donated 25,000 tons of wheat as emergency food assistance to Nigeria. They said to the vulnerable and crisis affected people of Northeast Nigeria. People be saying otherwise. Go ahead, Raji.
I don't see anything wrong in that, and I don't see any shame in it. In that, you see, let's talk specifics. What Ukraine donated to Nigeria is wheat. Do you believe that the wheat production in Ukraine is about the 7th, if not, is within the first four highest producers of wheat? Ukraine. He said Ukraine was developed as a food basket for the whole Russia. That's why Russia is very, very interested in keeping Ukraine. Most of the armaments were in Ukraine. So I don't see anything. When we are going specifics, let's go specific. It is wheat they donated to Nigeria, not beans or rice or something. So let's be specific about that. Same specificity will be applied to our giving Malaysia or Indonesia palm kernels. Yes, and most of these refined palm kernels came from the southeast, from the east.
Okay.
The research group there developed this palm kernel. What has happened to the palm kernel population in the southeast? Who are the people who donated those initial palm kernel to Malaysia? Let's talk about specifics. I don't see anything, and I consider the way Obi is going about that donation as a rant. I don't think if he was politically more matured, he wouldn't make that statement, because the statement, the way he made it, made him sound very, very mature.
Okay, let's be specific.
Yes.
Raji, George, before you come, let me give Raji some specification too from my end. Obi said this on Monday through his Twitter X platform. Now listen to this. He says Nigeria is blessed with vast arable land, abundant natural resources, but we are relying on Ukraine, and that's being specific. That's a fact. He says
we are not relying on Ukraine.
Yes, we're relying on Ukraine. He says
we are not.
He says it's a national disgrace. It's wheat.
You know what?
We are not relying on Ukraine for food.
Hold on.
We are relying on Ukraine for what they produce most, which is Ukraine. Ukraine is unable to sell its wheat.
Let's see if BD will come better now. BD, can you hear us? We need you, BD. We need to hear from you.
I can hear you very well. Good morning.
My network
has
Thank God.
And congratulations. Nice. We've been pumping on your door and checking. Thank you, BD. Thank you for coming to BD. The discussion is hot. Two different views. Raji says Ukraine did not give us food, but just gave us wheat. and it's not a bad thing for them to do. But George is aligning with Peter Obi, the LP presidential candidate last time. He says it's a shame. Peter Obi says it's a disgrace that we're receiving food from war-torn Ukraine. He says it's a national disgrace. Bidi, what's your own view on this?
First, I want to ask Mr. Raji, what is wheat used for?
Mm-hmm.
No, please make your point.
No,
make your point.
It's okay. I should make my point. It's all right. I will make my point. Wheat is used for so many things. See, the thing is about us in this country, most times we try to politicize everything. Ukraine, the size of Ukraine is not up to the size of Northeast alone. We have a lot of empty land in Nigeria lying low. We are not using it. I don't even want to go there. Going there is even going far. Lately, you had what has been making news in Nigeria, how Nigerians have been smuggling food. Do you understand? How many trucks, over 100 of trucks has been seized. And now, I was telling them today on MITV, I said, see, this smuggling of food in Nigeria has been going on. It didn't start today. Why should we are not in a war. We are not experiencing any natural disaster. Nothing is wrong with our country. Ukraine, that has been in war for close to 2 years now, is giving us food, and we are glad to receive it. We all should be ashamed of ourselves. We should cover ourselves in shame. I'm telling you, a lot of Western world has been donating things to Ukraine. What have we in Nigeria donated to Ukraine? Nothing. But
why should we donate anything to Ukraine?
Open our hands to receive from them. We are not at war. There's no natural disaster, and we are receiving. And it's not because, like I said today, I said, we don't have food scarcity in Nigeria. What we have is that we can't afford to buy our food. And one of the reasons we can't afford to buy it is because our Naira is now valueless. There are food, but our Naira is not valueless. And another thing why we can't afford to buy is that some group of people that have been empowered by government are taking this food out of Nigeria because they feel they will make more money exporting Nigerian food on other African countries. So anybody who is coming to say that he or she as a Nigerian is not ashamed that we are receiving food in Nigeria, I'm even ashamed of that person. Honestly.
You are actually contradicting yourself. It is not as if Nigeria needs so much food. There's no food in Nigeria. There's no food. I agree about some things. We should be producing more food than we are producing now. And I mentioned this about 5 years ago. As far as I can see, what is happening in most of our forests, in most of our down south, even across the middle belt and down south, is that there seems to be a war of attrition against us. That these herdsmen are targeting our farmlands and even the ancestral homelands of people in the middle belt, which happens to be our food basket. And that we should be very, very careful. We should be very, very careful for it not to come so down. As for those who are taking out tons of hundreds of tankers of trailers of food out of the country, you mentioned it. They get better value for it outside. So it's not as if Nigeria lacks food. We need to produce more food than we are.
Okay.
And we need to do something about this.
Let's go further. It's okay. Don't worry. We'll address more of this as time goes on because it's an issue that needs to be looked into. Let's go further and talk about health. There's something very serious that also popped up as at midday yesterday. United Nations is telling Nigerians to domesticate the HIV/AIDS Anti-Discrimination Act. Now, what that means is this big grammar. What he's trying to say is that they should make it illegal for people to discriminate against people that have HIV status. And because presently that's what they say Nigerians are doing. So, gentlemen, let's talk about this. We're talking health now. Viewers, health issue, SSM Wednesday, Global Africa. Is it possible? Can we do this? Can we remove every label on anybody that has AIDS and just relate with them normally? Possible.
No, the problem we have is how many people do you know that have AIDS?
AIDS.
That will come out to tell you that they have AIDS.
Yeah.
Do you understand? That is even even for them to say this, a lot of times some of these some of these organizations will come and just throw out words out there, just the whole entire
Yes.
Africa as one nation. Are you telling Nigerians to domesticate what? How many? What is the statistical number of people that have, HIV, those that have, gotten into AIDS? How do you know the number? How many? You see, because that's sometimes, they throw all these things to make us look so bad.
Yes.
As if our situation is better than where they are coming from.
They are better than us.
Better than us. That's all.
Meanwhile, there are far more important things for us to talk about than domestication,
domesticating
or thinking about LGBT, SQS.
Yeah. So we have more important things to discuss. I mean, seriously, all we need to do, we have been doing it, is to ensure domesticate. I think maybe what they were saying is, you can put public service announcements for people to be careful when they're engaging in intercourse, to ensure that they are safe. They use protected devices, and if you have AIDS, make sure that you're taking your retroviral medications in order not to pass it over to your partner or whatever the case might be. But otherwise, I don't see that as a non-issue. I don't see it as an issue to be discussed.
Okay. You don't see that as an issue. Yes, BD.
I think
honestly, I totally agree with them. It's a very big issue for us to discuss, because if you travel, not just in Nigeria, I think, where did I go to? Was it not in Togo or Ghana? You see, people, they will tell you, oh, people can easily tell you, I'm living with HIV. Yes. But in Nigeria, people hide it. It's a top secret. And why is it that? Because of the way people discriminate against them. Now, if people stop discriminating against people, people will not hide it. And by that way, we can curtail it. Do you understand? We can curtail it. But when people are hiding it, it starts from the medical practitioners too. If you go to the doctors, you go to hospital, the way they discriminate about this. I did a program with that when I was NTA. That was in 2018, maybe 2017. The way they discriminate about people who live with this virus makes them to hide it. And when they hide it, the other people around them are at risk. If we as people stop discriminating about people who live with HIV, do you understand? They will start hiding it. And by that way, we can be able to curtail it. They made a very salient point, a very important point. It's true. The way we discriminate it is causing a lot of harm. It's making it to grow more. And how
thank you very much. And I wanted to say, BD, thank you so much. I wanted to also add that was actually the angle the WHO, United Nations, was going to portray. That because of we labeling it and discriminating against it, now people hide and shy away from revealing the status. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, let's go on. The question is this. The question is this. Discrimination comes only from certain angles. What is the discrimination there? That they don't want to have any contact with you, or they don't want to have any, because I'm trying to understand. I don't live in Nigeria, so I need to understand what they mean by discrimination. What is a public service announcement to make sure that people are aware of such a thing that is happening, and therefore bring up to speed the retroviral drugs that people can actually use and live on this a long time without it, affecting other people, your partner. There are some people now that have AIDS, and they're taking their drugs, and they can sleep with their partner. Their partner will not get it. So these are education. We need education in the country. So when they're talking about domesticating it, what I believe is the best way to do that is educate the people. Public service announcement, make it fresh in the minds of those. And because in the past it was a death sentence, right now it's no longer a death sentence. Gotta let people know that. And that's the reason why people are still discriminating, because yesterday's dreams and everything they knew about it yesterday is still fresh in their mind. They're not even considering the fact that drugs are now here that they can use and people can live a normal life with it. So what I'm suggesting is education.
Education. George is suggesting education.
Yeah.
BD, the final take on this.
Sir George, you're 100% correct. That education is what we need. And we need it seriously, not just only education, we need reorientation, because even as of now, let me tell you how they discriminate. In Nigeria, we've had stories where people are being sacked in their jobs because of this. And NACA, I think it's NACA, I hope it's the body, NACA, am I right? Sometimes had issues with some companies. This time around, one company, they will sack you without even stating it, but you, that is that HIV positive, know that was why they sacked you. When people know that you are HIV, the way they discriminate you, even family members, the way they avoid you, the way they don't want to do business with you, you're saying is no longer a death sentence. Just try and put it in a Nigerian platform today. You hear people, you hear stories. A lot of Nigerians still believe it's still death sentences. Even as you approach, you educate them, you tell them, Nigerians are they are not teachable people. We are not easily teachable people. It takes time because of what? Our religion, our culture, it affects the way we learn. We don't always loosen up easily. So that is actually the point. So it's a very serious thing in Nigeria, I am telling you. And because it's a very serious people hide it. And when you hide illness, it affects you and it affects people around you. But if they stop discriminating it, one man can say, oh, I'm HIV positive. It doesn't affect your job. It doesn't affect who you are. It doesn't affect how you relate with people. People will now know, oh, this person is HIV. This is the way I deal with it. But not, avoiding the person or relieving the person of his job or his or her happiness. So if we can do that and educate people like you say, it will go a long way and help us.
Thank you very much, BD. BD and George, you guys are throwing it back and forth so well. Let's round up with this. The network is telling me they can spare us 5 minutes. There is a strong issue going on with the Nigerian crypto world. You all know, those of you in Nigeria know what's going on. The company Binance says it will halt all Naira transactions from March the 8th. And Nigerian lawmakers are calling for the arrest of the executive of that company. Now, let's understand that company. The company Binance is they are into crypto activity. They trade their Naira. They trade the cryptocurrency into Naira assets, and they do a lot of things on that sphere. Now, the company says no more of such. The founder, one Chinese guy, a developer, has said that they will be reducing a lot of activities in Nigeria. So those of you in Nigeria, BD, what do you know about this? Binance and its global operations in Nigeria coming to a halt by March the 8th. Who's giving us something?
Yeah, let me take it on.
Okay.
I have always been doubtful about cryptocurrency. Any financial system that will displace or disrupt the banking system will be because it is not easily controllable, will be resisted by almost every entity unless they are able to control the cryptocurrency platform. No country should be able to leave its currency to be traded under cryptocurrency. And I think that trading started with Emefiele. I nearly called him Emefiele, by giving by making it possible for cryptocurrency to start operating in Nigeria. And within that short period, I can assure you that more than I'll put as small as possible, more than $10 billion have been traded in under cryptocurrency, and you can't control it. They can speculate on your currency, and they can destroy your currency because there's no control.
The sad thing is the man is a foreigner. Now the house invited him for some talk, and he didn't appear. So also I'm looking at this like, so foreigners can have this impunity to come to our country, do business, and don't want to face any.
So why did they invite him? He's not strictly doing any business in Nigeria. Strictly speaking, and even when I heard the rumors of being threatened with a fine, I find it very funny. We left our currency without control. And anybody anywhere can take advantage of it.
For an external company,
the problem is
for a foreign company to have that power to manipulate our currency. Do you understand? Is that the thing? Sometimes the things we come out to talk is the things that we as a country we should be ashamed of. Now everybody is calling Binance. They affected the currency of a nation like Nigeria. This country, yes, they are foreigners. They can't do this thing without an insiders. I'm telling you, they manipulated our foreign exchange rates. They can't do this thing and get it done successfully without the input of us insiders.
The thing is this.
It becomes strong.
You have to understand that a lot of these, our leaders, are using this particular cryptocurrency to move money away from Nigeria for their own good. They hide it there because your wallet cannot be found out how much you owe. As long as you get your own, you have your security system intact. Nobody can find out how many billions or trillions you have in this account. So now listen to this now. Listen, cryptocurrency is actually, it might be the currency of the future generation. Okay. And it's been around. The governments around the world, they fought against it, but they cannot do anything with it. But the volatility of that particular system of monetary the monetary system is what is really bringing issues, because Nigerians took it to another level. Yeah. They took it to another level. I mean, it's almost like a get rich quick scheme. And it just destroyed a lot of people. Many people lost their money, and they bring in their own ideas. They implemented different systems with this thing, and a lot of people lost their money. It's almost like you give me 1,000, I will give you 100,000 tomorrow. That type of scheme that was really happening, and I saw a lot of people lose all their money.
Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme.
Not exactly Ponzi.
Yeah, no, but in a digital way.
It is Ponzi scheme.
Not exactly Ponzi, but Ponzi in a digital way.
No,
anyway,
it's a larger scheme kind of Ponzi. It's a larger scheme kind of Ponzi. It is a Ponzi system, but it's in a larger scale. And it's taking a lot of people and wasted all their money and all their resources.
Another thing I don't understand, why is the federal government demanding $10,000 from them? Is it for the case to raise
$10,000?
Yes.
Not 10 billion. 10 billion. That's just a rumor.
Yeah, so what is that? So what's that? So once they pay it, they will let them go. All the crime, all the pain they have put us through, that one will go. That's what they're trying to do.
The government cannot find them. The government cannot find them because they didn't do anything criminal inside the country.
What did you do to your currency again?
Yes.
They didn't do anything to your currency.
They didn't do anything
to yourself. The thing is,
Yes.
it's almost like no,
They
didn't do anything
manipulated
to
it.
the
Is it not?
No, they
when
did
are
not.
We
You
gave
did
them
it yourself.
access to it.
Yes.
Yes.
We gave them
Exactly, you're
access.
right.
MFL gave them right to it. Yes.
You're right. You're right.
They
You're
didn't
right.
do that.
It was not legal before until MFL made it legal.
And the reason why
And
he made it legal
because they
it will
themselves
help
knew
them.
how they are going to hide their monies under it.
Exactly. Exactly. It's untraceable.
Mm.
It's untraceable.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. BD, you guys have come through. To round it up on the entertainment scene, soon we'll be witnessing the Oscars. I don't know if some of you follow the Oscars. The Oscar award will be coming up on March 10th. That will be the 96th Academic Award. It's like the highest of all the awards when it comes to movie acting. So we're expecting to see some new faces, some new awardees, some great movies being awarded. I follow the Oscars, and we're on standby for what will be happening on March the 10th. So on this note, gentlemen,
today is Ghana's Independence Day.
Wow.
True,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's do some shout out. Let's start. We have a minute.
I was made in Ghana, bottled in Nigeria. So I'm very, very close to Ghana. I was made in Ghana.
Yes, yes. You can tell from your accent.
Happy birthday. Happy Independence Day,
Ghana. Happy Independence to my Ghanaian friends.
Yes, that was the first country that was bold enough to hold the colonial masters by their neck and say, listen, we have to go. And after that,
our brothers and sisters from Ghana, we wish you people all the best. We pray that you people keep getting it right. If you people can get it right, Africans can get it right. We wish you all the best.
They've been getting it right. It's Nigeria that needs to get some things right.
Send us Baku. Am I right? Baku.
Banku.
Nice. Thank you, guys.
All right.
George, you want to say something to Ghana?
Huh?
You want to say something to Ghana?
No, while we are celebrating, we will allow your jollof rice to rule over Nigerian jollof rice just for today. After today, it's over. It's over.
We are back to number one after today.
So wache is competing with jollof rice. Wache, but today let Ghana jollof rule over Nigerian jollof just for today as we celebrate.
This is nice. This is nice. Viewers, this is it. Thank you all for coming. It's been News Echoes Global Africa Wednesday, the 6th of March. On Ghana's Independence Day, and we are all celebrating and wishing Ghana wonderful Independence Day and more progress for them. So viewers, thank you, George, thank you, Raji, thank you, BD. You came through. Till we come again on Friday. Have a beautiful midweek. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye.